Spending time at events, getting to know new people, being at conferences, all of these things can be hard. And for most people, standing at a mingle is terrifying. But being able to network gives you a lot of possibilities in life. Knowing the right people, connecting with the right people, having a connection with people gives you opportunities and lets you give them opportunities. Whether it be just getting new friends, learning new skills, getting that promotion, finding a new job. The positive thing is it's a learnable skill. Everyone can get better at networking and you can increase your comfort level at these kind of events. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 main steps to networking, which is first of all, what's the purpose of networking? Why do you want to do it? 2, finding the channel that you want to do the networking through. Basically, how do you get to meet these people? And 3, when you do meet these people, what do you do? What should you say? What's your action plan? I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on that. So let's get into it. The first step of networking is to find out, why do you really want to do it? Because doing something that kind of scares you, which networking probably does for a lot of people, including myself, you need to have a strong why of why you want to do it. Why do you want to put yourself in this uncomfortable situation? And the answer is probably that you want to gain something from it. It could be that you want to get to know someone new who you think will have a positive impact on your life. Getting to know the right people to get your next promotion. It could be getting a new job, gaining new friends, learning new skills. There are a lot of different reasons to why you'd want to network, and you need to find that out for yourself. What is your reason to wanting to network? Because if you know what you want to gain, it's also easier to go and get it. Which leads us into the next step. So the second step. Okay, so where do I network? How do I network? So there are some different ways that you can do this. Say you want to get to know a person better. My first suggestion would be get some one-on-one with that person. The best way to get to know each other is to talk. I've done this several times where you kind of feel like, I want to get to know that person more. Well, just reach out to them. Ask them if they want to have a coffee. Ask them if they want to have a lunch. Most of the time, people say yes, because people like connecting with people. You've got nothing to lose on that. When I was a mingle quite some time ago, I met a really interesting person. He had done a challenge where he challenged himself to have lunch with one person he didn't know for each week of the year. So in the end, I think he met 70 people during the course of a year. 70 people that he didn't have any connection to from the start. And how did he do that? Well, he just reached out. Because people really do want to get to know people. And if you reach out and have an open mind and a real interest, they'll probably say yes. I actually want to challenge yourself. In the next month, reach out and book at least 3 lunches or coffees. And try to make it with people that you have no contact with before. Like, who would you really want to meet? What inspiring people do you have around there? There are a lot of people around you, business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, or just regular workers that have a lot of experience to share with you. I did this challenge and I booked lunch with 3 different people. I found quite an interesting person. So all of you Swedes there will know Christer Fuglesang, which is basically the first Swedish astronaut. I knew that he was working at my school. And don't get me wrong, like, the school is big, it's 20,000 students, so it's not like I wouldn't run into him at the whole way. But I figured, well, the best way to get to know him would probably be to reach out to him while I'm still in university. So I just emailed him and asked him, well, hey, could I grab a coffee with you? I think you're really inspiring and I really want to talk with you. And he said, well, yeah, sure. Come over to my office and we'll have a coffee. So I went there, I talked to him, and I assure you, it was one of the most inspiring 15 minutes in my life, because that was how much time he had over in his schedule. But it really made an impact on me, and it really made an impact on how I view networking and actually how easy it is to reach out to people. Then we have the classic networking events. So like events, mingles, conferences, all those kinds of things. I believe you should attend those when you really feel like you have something that you want to contribute with and something that you want to learn on the topic. Because most of the time the events and the conferences, they evolve around a different topic. And how do you find those? Well, if it's a particular company you're interested in, make sure to follow their newsletter. Follow their social media like LinkedIn, maybe even Facebook and Instagram. They're gonna show what kind of events they're having. Make sure they're in those lists. And if you're interested in a particular topic, find the organizations that are working within that area, that are more outgoing, that are more kind of those organizations that want to teach people about things. They're gonna make sure to have a lot of events where you can show up. Follow consulting companies, because they're gonna have seminars and events on their most recent topics and what they've learned in the business. And lastly, we have the online communities. So there are a lot of different ways to connect with people online. First of all, if you're in a business context, I really think you should be on LinkedIn, because there's so much interesting people there who are sharing a lot of interesting stuff. And it's so easy to follow your favorite companies, people, entrepreneurs, CEOs, like generally inspiring people, and also topics and companies that you think are really interesting. And that also gives you a platform to reach out with your own content and therefore make your own word about it and connect with people. Okay, so thirdly, when you are networking, what should you be doing? What's really important here? Please remember people's names. If you're talking to a person and then forget their name, you have no way to reach out to them later. So that's a really important point. Please remember their name. And connected to knowing their name, make sure you have a way to reach out to them later. If you found a person that you really click with and that you're inspired by or bonding with, make sure to get their business card and that they get your business card, or connect with them on LinkedIn. That way you have a way to reach out to them when you find something else that you want to talk to them about, or follow up on something that you said in your previous conversation. And for those people who don't really know what they're gonna talk about when they meet someone, I have some tips for you too. Make sure you ask a lot of questions about the other person. Let that person talk, because people love talking about themselves. And that's a really good way of keeping the conversation going. Make sure to really get to know them. What do they do? What are their passions? And in the same way, when people ask you things back, don't only answer it with a yes or no, because that's a guaranteed way to kill the conversation. When you meet a person that you might know a little bit, but not so much, and you ask them, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" "I'm doing good, how are you?" Don't just answer it with, "I'm good, thank you." But make sure to elaborate on that with something that's recently happened. And that way you really get the conversation started, because otherwise it could be quite hard to find the next question, to know where the conversation is going. So make sure to make it living by responding with things that could really be interesting and that could keep the conversation going. When you're at those big mingles, where you basically don't know anyone and you're finding yourself standing there like, okay, what do I do now? Well, try to go there with the mindset of trying to help people. If someone tells you they're struggling about something, give them some tips. Give them a book recommendation. Find something that you can really help them with. Because that mindset is not only gonna help you have kind of a mission when you're going, but it's also gonna make them like you. Because people like people that provides them with something. And that is a really good way to make a good impression. Also, with those types of things, it's really good to have something that gives you the possibility to follow up with them in a natural way. So basically, if someone tells you, "Oh, no, I've been having a struggle with how to prioritize my days," you can give them the recommendation to read Getting Things Done by David Allen. And if you have that book at home, you can even tell them that you can lend it to them. That way you have a reason to reach out to them later, like, "Hey, do you want to meet up again? You can borrow that book from me that we talked about." If you know you're meeting someone, think about what could the next step be so we could get to know each other more. Should I ask them to go on this event that my company is arranging? Should we go out for lunch and talk more about this topic in depth? Like, what is the way that we could connect more on this topic? So there we have it, the 3 steps to networking. And remember, practice is key. Sitting here watching YouTube videos isn't gonna help you, I'm sorry. Being out there connecting with people is. So remember the challenge. Try to reach out to at least 3 people and book a lunch or coffee with them to connect with them. It's really gonna help you bring in new perspectives on life. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. It's really gonna help me to bring out more content. See you in the next video.